Welcome back, guys. It's lights, camera, and action. I don't always want to miss that. I want you to get used to it. So, welcome once again. It's Cine 360, your all access lens into the world of films, music, and entertainment. I mean, globally, because we are doing it big. And it's told through the angle of innovation, creativity, and of course, science. I'm Cynthia, the lady with no AKA. And today we're stepping into the world of Nollywood action, the evolution of action in Nollywood. So when you think martial arts, you think gunfight, you think fight choreography, you think stunts that make you gasp, stop, and you're like, is this Nollywood? Am I still, or is it an infusion of, Hollywood? But yes, we're not just talking about the thrills, we're not just talking about action. We're talking about action that tells stories, action that reflects culture, shows, action that shows what our industry can do when it pushes itself and when it is done well. How it puts our name, how it puts Nigeria cinema on the global map. So over the next hour, half hour rather, not the next hour, I won't be keeping you for that long. Over the next half hour, I'll walk you through where Nollywood started with action, where it is now, and what actually is working and what is still holding us back. And of course, yes, a few unpopular things. I like to give my unpopular opinions. A few unpopular things will be said, and I think we need to face it. Face it with our full chest this time around. All right.
Augmented reality, AR, and virtual reality, VR. AR and VR are transforming the way we experience the world, offering immersive digital environments in everything from gaming to training simulations. AR overlays digital elements onto the real world, think Pokemon Go, while VR immerses users in a completely virtual space. Industries like real estate and education are adopting these technologies for virtual tours and interactive learning, but the cost of high-end equipment remains a barrier. Despite that, the AR/VR market is projected to reach $209.2 billion by 2025, driven by advancements in hardware and 5G networks.
All right. So let's talk about the early days versus what we have right now. The early days of Nollywood action. We had action back then. We had Nollywood action back then. And look, the early Nollywood action of the late 1990s and the early 2000s had a particular electricity. I don't know if you felt that electricity back then. Films like Isakaba, they gave us that raw community vigilante energy, those kind of fights that felt immediate, that felt local, that felt like most of them are often, mythic, like in nature. Those kind of fights that you can see the raw energy, you can feel it, and you're like, it's almost like it's real. So where we're coming from isn't that bad. And they were made of, shoestrings, with improvisation, with heart. That rawness mattered because it matched the stories being told as at then. So, like I said, it's not all that bad where we're coming from because as at while it lasted, while it was still a thing, then those style of Nollywood action, we felt it, we loved it, and I remember, like I said in the last episode, we always run to video clubs wanting to go and get the new films, and then it was like part one, part two. Films have up to like part six, and you must watch it till the end. I mean, we always anticipate it. And then for a long time, our action suffered from three practical limits. One, we had issues with equipment, we had those time limitations, and of course, safety. So a lot of things limited us. They had to, there were we had to battle countless retakes, you know, and minimal stunt rehearsals. People just, Actors just jump on set, directors just tell you what you want to do, and we want to like I told you, we anticipate this movie. So when directors and actors get on set, they just want to get it out there for us. Producers just want to get it out there for us, for people to watch. It's based on like demand and supply. So there's limited time to, check and rehearse and put all they have in the movie. There were also makeshift rigs, that often conveyed that was often conveyed rather through those kind of quick cuts, and we have those loud sound effects rather than choreography that end our breathless reactions. But then we loved it while it lasted. But then fast forward to the last 2010s and into 2024, say through 2025, you can see a step change, a very, very huge change. This is not just a step, like a very huge step. It's it's like a complete overhaul, if I should say that. Films like The Island, Merrimentary, Black Book, Jagun Jagun. I mean, these are films I'm just mentioning. You know many more. The Waiter, I just saw that of recent, and what A.Y. Makun did, A.Y. Makun the comedian, what he did with that movie was marvelous. I mean, how he had added humor and also added action. I mean, the infusion of comic, and action. We saw real combat. We saw real, even if I would not say it's complete martial arts, but then, I mean, it shows that producers are investing in stunt coordinators. It shows us we're investing in the craft, because this is a craft. It shows that we are investing in the art. Better cameras, good post-production. I mean, I like it all, and we are here for it. And the results of all this, like I said, we now have cleaner pictures, good edits, longer takes where you can actually see the geography of the fights and the sequences that are designed for marketing as much as they are for storytelling. So we are not just like relax and say, okay, let's just get this film out there. These days, this film was shot in around, I mean, it was released in 2024, but it got to the cinemas and a lot of people, but it's now up for download this year, 2025. And I mean, that shows the energy we are putting in films. Some of these films were shot in as far back as 2020, as far back as 2021, 2022, and we get to see some of them released in 2025. It shows that we are putting a whole lot of effort in production and post-production. And like I said, I love to see this. I don't even want to go to the aspect of distribution, marketing, and all the whole influencing. But then my take is that I celebrate the leap in craft. I like what is going on now, but I also miss the times when a fight scene told you something rough, you know, something rough and human about the characters without trying to look like an overseas blockbuster. Not like I do not like to see this as we copying. I would rather say we are imitating what's good, and I'm always up for a good copying. I'm always up for that. And then sometimes those modern action borrows visual tropes too, without building a native action grammar. But what I'm seeing in Nollywood is like we are bringing that originality, we are bringing our culture, we are showing it, but then we are not infusing action, we are not infusing all of those gunfight and all of it. And I mean, it looks sleek, but occasionally they feel like they are copied rather than they evolved. But I don't know what you are seeing, but I think we are doing well. We are doing well, especially when it comes to how we are infusing culture, how we are, putting, because there are different type of action movies. What I've seen in Nigeria, there are different type of action movies. There are some that will bring those, cultural um, infusion. There's some that will tell of crime stories, so many things like that. And like I said, I like what Nollywood is doing with this. But then, action in Nollywood today wears many masks. Yes, like I said, gunfights and thrillers, these are everywhere. Like The Waiter I'm talking about by A.Y. Makon is more like a crime. Should I say a crime? It's like a should how will I put it? It's a sarcasm. It's a sarcasm, and it's a satire too. It also is satire because it's satirizing societal upheavals and all of those bad leaders in quotes. And I mean, such crime stories, gunfights, kind of Nollywood movies, they are everywhere. Like I said, we've got political revenge, those urban crime dramas, corruption tales, and the best ones, they use guns as moral instruments, you know, not just sound effects. So when weight, recoil, and choreography are right, the audience reads character through how someone shoots or refuses to shoot. Most of the time, we see all of this, we watch all of those movies, and we are like, okay, what's this government for? But if you look at it from the 360 lens, you're going to see that some of these things are like symbolism. And also, we have like the boxing and combat sports, that's the Dambe, local fighting traditions. When films center a combat sport, think of the cultural weight of Dambe or boxing. You know Dambe and boxing. I mean, action becomes ritual and identity. It's one with us. It's one with our identity. It's one with our culture. You see that, okay. Take, for instance, let me refer to Chinese movies. We see kung fu, we see karate. You don't even need to see kung fu or karate before you know this is a Chinese movie. You just hear kung fu, you just hear karate, and you know that this is a Chinese movie. And that is what Nollywood is doing these days. When you see some traditional boxing, some local wrestling, you know that being infused in movies, you know that, okay, this is a Nigerian movie or this is an African movie. So I love to see all of those things. Those films do more than thrill. When we get all of these things infused in films, they do more than just thrillers. They situate characters in communities' history. And I like to say that. I mean, we saw Wakanda and the release of the new animation of Wakanda, and we see, I mean, it's taking us back to the traditional African stories. We see a lot of supernatural comebacks, films that fuse folklore and, blades. When I mean blades, I mean swords and charms like Jagun Jagun, like Wakanda, they bring that spectacle and that cultural specificity. I mean, it shows us that this is African, this is Africa, this is our heritage. I'll still refer to Wakanda. I love what they did with the animation. I mean, most people who have seen Wakanda, I mean, Wakanda forever, I must pay reverence, but then those people who have seen Wakanda are like, okay, where is this story coming from? We just know it is Africa. It is a representation of Africa as a whole. But then when you watch the animation, the new animation that was released by Marvel, you'll be like, okay, this is interesting. This is good because you're going to see the infusion of different um, cultural heritage. It took us back to Ethiopia in the 1900s. It took us back um, to many other cultures as far back as the 1900s, and we saw a lot of things. And it also brought us to the future. So, I mean, and some of those things are an enactment or an adoption or an adaptation, if I should put it that way, from different African cultural histories brought together in one film. That's a huge trend when we look at it very well. It's uniquely ours, so we have to own it. And these things are coming to our big screens, and we love it. Talking of martial arts, I mean, those hand-to-hand choreography, this is the area, this is the area that still is still finding its footing in Nigeria. One, I'll say it's not our thing. Martial arts, it's not our thing, it's not our culture, but then we are finding ways to infuse it. So you see the experimentation of kicks, flips, and all those disciplined choreography. I would say, what's this movie? Is it Brotherhood? Yes, Brotherhood is another film that, exhibited much of these. And I really like the way they infuse all of these things. It's still our own. You're still seeing the Lagos Agboros, you're still seeing the Lagos boys, the Lagos lifestyle, but then you're seeing kick and flips. And it's making you resonate with the whole thing. Because even when you're moving in Lagos, you get to meet some of these things on the way. You get to meet fights with conductors and passengers, or downfall bus drivers and passengers, or you just meet random passer by. fighting. So some of these things being brought to us in movies, we see real life combats, we see real life, flips, kicks, and whatnot. I think it's one with us. It's bringing it closer. Nollywood is bringing it closer to home. So we want to see all of those. These are the actions we are talking about. I mean, not those blow powders that we have been seeing, those witchcraft movies. Not like they are not good. It's still part of our culture. But I guess people get tired of a thing when it carries on for a long time. I mean, witchcraft movies, like people said, have been overflogged. I'll say it's not yet a perversive. I mean, homegrown martial arts cinema, the way Asia built theirs. But I think along the line, we'll get it. So my take is that the smartest work blends style. And, a punch feels more meaningful if it lands within a cultural context, like I've been saying. If the audience understands why it matters, I mean, who wouldn't be all for it? Who will be all for it? And I always have my unpopular opinions. We don't need to copy Kung Fu. That's not what I'm saying. We don't need to copy all those Kung Fu films that will have all the punches or the fly, kick. And let me diverse a little. I heard that most of those karate and kung fu are real, like people, not like in the movies, like in real life, in this real life that me and you are in. People learn kung fu, and kung fu is a thing. It's part of the Asia Chinese culture. I think it's not just in China. I think it's in. I don't know who owns kung fu, but most of those martial arts, karate, kung fu. I mean, a whole lot of the list of them. I think it's within the Asian, those Korea, China, Japan, culture. And everybody knows them for that. I mean, if you just see it, it's either you are saying this is Japanese, this one is Chinese, this one is all of those things. And that is what I want for Africa as well. And our strength is in hybridizing. When I say hybridizing, I mean mixing folklore, Afrocentric combat forms, and that tight urban choreography to create an action language that belongs to Africa. I don't even want to say Nigeria this time around. I just want to say belongs to Africa. So let's talk about what's working and what needs improvement. What's working right now? I'll say the growing pool of choreographers and stunt coordinators. Yes. Although we need more investment, but I feel like with how much we have invested this time, I think it is changing the scene a little. I was watching the general. He's a Nigerian. I think he's an influencer and he's a comedian. I mean, he broke the internet with his kung fu skills, and he was doing some practicals on, like, it was content at first. He started it as a content, but then, I mean, what he has done with that, where he has gone with that. I mean, I think he was recently invited to China, one of their kung fu schools, and he was doing it wonderfully well. Like, he grew up in China, and I was like, okay, if somebody can do something like this, why don't we invest in skills like this? I mean, most times people get tired of seeing one thing carry on for a long time, and if we want to change the scene a little, especially with the fact that most of Nollywood's audience are not buying into this action, these practical actions being infused in movies, is more reason why we should invest in these actions, invest in individuals than it. Okay, let's talk about practical props and effects. When props have weight and practical effects are used, scenes will feel tactile. They won't just feel like, okay, it's just Blair, it's just there, it will feel more realistic. And then our sound design. What most people do not know is that both sound, both color, both people, everything works together to give that experience we desire, to give that experience audiences desire. So if we have better soundscapes deliver, like when they are throwing punches now and then, we are hearing the sound, we can hear the sound, everything is synchronized properly, gunshots are synchronized properly. I really feel it's going to hit us emotionally. I was watching a movie yesterday and I felt like I was inside. And I was telling my sister that the way Hollywood, this is not me comparing Hollywood movies to Nollywood movies in a bad way, but the way some Hollywood movies carries me along, like it feels like I'm inside the movie. Somebody is struggling and I'm struggling as well. Somebody is trying to dodge bullets and I'm dodging bullets as well. I find myself dodging bullets and I find myself like fighting for my life, like I was in the movie. But then narration or the narrative integration is also another thing we need to talk about. Increasingly, action supports, character beats, those fights sequences, all of those things. Those fights, they have consequences, rather. They have loss and they have emotions. So when most of these things comes together to make you get that full experience, to make you feel that movie, to make you be in that movie, then I feel we are going to do more with, Nollywood movie. And I can't wait to see where Nollywood takes us next year, because 2025 is almost coming to an end. And last time we talked about Nollywood in 2025 and where it is going. And this is one of those things. This is one of the things we want to talk about when we talk about where Nollywood is going. Because coming from where we are coming from, Nollywood is not what it is. It's no longer what it is, because I can't remember watching movies where we have, serious fights scenes. Even the VFX, if you want to talk about VFX, even VFX are minimally used, and even if they are overly utilized in some movies, but it is utilized well. It is giving us that film trick that we want to see, just like we see in Hollywood movies. And then, well, let's talk about what still needs work, because we are at this point, and it's kudos to movie and filmmakers, but we need to get to somewhere. We need to work on some things to get to where we want to go to. Systemic training and stunt infrastructure. We need stunt schools, we need accredited training programs. I know there are so many film schools in Nigeria now, especially in Lagos, Nigeria, but then we need more film schools, we need more accredited training schools, and even programs, and also professional stunt unions. So knowledge is transferable and safety standards are enforced. If we want to take an instance from Hollywood, they have actors who are specially, who are specialized rather in stunts acting, and people know them for that. So, say I know the likes of Tom Cruise and Jackie Chan, they do their own stunts or they carry out their own stunts themselves. But then there are actors who still need. There are some actors who still need stunt actors. So say they get somebody that has similar looks as mine, and then in the scene where I need to fight, as me as the actor, my stunt actor or my stunt double, they call them stunt double or film double or what, something like that in that line. So my double comes, and then it is my double who you are seeing fighting. But then when they need to show my face, it is me you are seeing. So we need things like that. We need upgrade. But I think we can do it and we are getting there. But we just need more investment in this craft. And some other safety and insurance culture needs to be built. Too many sets still run on improvisation, and we need to move past that. That is dangerous and very unsustainable for Nollywood if we want to go to where we want to go with action evolution in Nollywood. Also, our budget allocation and prioritization is very, very low. I think this is the time I need to call the government to this. I mean, what are we doing with the creative economy, especially the filmmaking industry? The filmmaking industry, mind you, is a very big one. I know the music industry is very big currently. I mean, it's the biggest, but the film making industry is a very big one. And I don't even think it is playing catch up at this point in time. When we have films, like I said in the last episode, when we have films that are now being, that are sent to Cannes, we are now attending different festivals. We are now, I mean, Nollywood is going there. We are number 3 in Africa when it comes to filmmaking. So I think we are there, but we need to do better. Action is very cost. If we're talking about action, action is very cost. Talking of choreography, talking of rehearsal time, talking of safety personnel, multiple camera setups, producers need to budget realistically. A well choreographed set piece can require as much as time and resources as multiple dialogue scenes. So, a quick note from me is that I'm not speaking from industry patterns and on-set experience. I'm talking about exact budgets. Exact budgets vary widely, so we need to invest wholeheartedly. And another thing I want to talk about is light and spatial clarity. A lot of action still hides in darkness or in, those shaky curtain where I mean, sometimes I get angry. I'll be seeing some Nigerian movies and then there are some scenes that do not do it. And I'll tell myself, I'll keep asking myself, did they preview this movie before they let it out? How can you let something like this out, rather? I mean, audience will be so confused. You did not leave them with any choice. So longer, well-composed takes will help viewers register geography and stakes. We'll get used to it and we'll have no choice. We'll know that this is, we'll be anticipating when when we want to see a Nollywood movie. Not the one that, because for a very long time, if most people want to see movies, you'll be like, hope it's not that. And most times people will say, I know what will happen at the end. And you see that if they tell you, I know what will happen at the end, for how would I put it? Truly, that is what is going to happen at the end. So my verdict is that we are on an upward curve, but growth will stall if we don't professionalize at this point in time. Schools, insurance, fair pay for stunt teams. That's if we even have stunt teams. If we don't have, we have to start prioritizing that right now. And a better rehearsal culture, better choreographic culture. Also, unpopular but true, some producers prefer flashy VFX, like I said before, over investing in people. There should be a balance. I think it goes hand in hand. Invest in VFX, invest in people. Because if you don't have the people that will make us feel, bring that realism, portray that realism, put it out to us as much as we want, then I don't know what we are doing. I don't know what we are doing at all. So let's talk about the economics and audience. And I'll be blunt here. Action sequences change a film's marketability. If you have a memorable fight, it can power festival interest. It can bring in investment. It can, bring in streaming discovery and also international sales. So we should quit limiting ourselves. Nollywood should quit limiting themselves and put it out there to the people. You don't know what you attract. We started attracting most of them. I was referring to Canes the other time, and some of these TIFF and some of these big festivals that we have. Just the other day, Dari Act Alade was involved or included in is the Academy Award. That's the Oyinbo people, the US Academy Award. He's now part of the team who are organizing it. And that's a big one for us. That's a big one when we talk of Nollywood, when we talk of filmmaking as a whole. But action also raises cost and risk. So we have to bear this in mind when we do things like this or when we want to consider things like this. So the conversation must happen early if we want to go to in scripting and in budgeting, and not as an afterthought. I'll give you something on a practical note. It's high time that producers start, exporting that action. Start exploring, rather, if we want to export action. Start investing in pre-production and also post-production. Let's start with pre-production, production and post-production. We have to invest heavily because the return on investment is real. Festival programmers and streaming curators notice this craft. And also audiences too. Never you underestimate the audience. If you want Twitter, go check Twitter React and we'll see what's happening there because your audience are your eyes. you can watch it, you can see what's there, but when your audience tells you it's like this, it's not like this, you have to listen to them. They have the social clips, they have the reactions, they will put it out there, they will spread it, and we know that sequences spread fast.
Want that goddamn flash drive found?
You know, you actually haven't told us why somebody in the army is trying to kill you.
Complete the transaction and no one would get hurt.
You must really be a big dreamer.
Okay, welcome back. You've probably seen the noise on X, that's formerly Twitter. People are hyped, you know, praise like the choreography is the most accurate I have seen. All of these things sits alongside criticism that tricks can't replace realism. But here are the kinds of reaction people are having. I mean, you must have seen some of them, similar tweets in your timelines. First off is Reuters. This is from Reuters. I guess Reuters, this is the media company. And it says, with flips, kicks, and fists, this Nigerian stunt crew is bringing recreation of famous fight scenes to Nollywood. I think that's the praise, and I mean, we can do this excitement. That's the kind of praise we want to see. And this is motivating enough. Still, Reuters say a Nigerian stunt crew is bringing blow-by-blow recreations of famous fight scenes to Nollywood, aiming to put some muscle into a film industry better known for drama, comedy, and romance. I think this is another rewarding comment. It shows that Nollywood is being rewarded out there with so much care, so we can make use of that comment as well. Osaretin Victor Asemota says Gangs of Lagos. This is the movie. I was trying to remember the name of this movie earlier on. Gangs of Lagos, referring to one Nigerian movie. Gangs of Lagos is the first Nigerian local action movie that I know, which is not like a cartoon. I think this, okay, it said action sequences and, okay, I know which is not, oh, okay. Action sequences and special effects were much better than any I have seen in Nollywood so far. I think this is kudos to that movie, and not just to the movie, it shows how, you know, the evolution of Nollywood, the evolution of action in Nollywood and where we are going. Muyi Adebayo says, and I quote, the first fight scene in Gangs of Lagos, still speaking about Gangs of Lagos, I think Gangs of Lagos found favor in, you know, the eyes of Nigerian audiences. Scene in Gangs, okay, the first fight scene in Gangs of Lagos is some of the most accurate fight choreography I have seen in Nigerian cinema. Interesting. That's a very good one there. But then you will still have words on the street from critics. Here's what critics have said, and it's from no other person than Daniel Rega. I can't help myself but laugh. But then Daniel Rega, everyone knows, is a Twitter sensation and X sensation. Everybody knows him. I mean, when you hear of, anytime I see a Daniel Rega's tweet, I always stop to read it for some reasons I may not share with you. But then he wrote, and I quote, the Gangs of Lagos movie is overrated. He's still speaking about the Gangs of Lagos movie. Did the producers not see Gangs of London? The most upsetting part of the movie are the film tricks. For instance, guns were fired during the reception scene, but bullets weren't penetrating fabrics. Nollywood should set it up. No offense. I think I picked this. Please, no shades on Gangs of Lagos. This comment was picked because of the message he sent to Nollywood. Nollywood should step it up. No offense. I mean, that's the other side. You have good comments. You have people who most of these movies or who Nollywood are doing it well for, and then you have people who have other thoughts, who have counter thoughts. Will be compared to international benchmarks, no doubt, but then we have to step up. Yes, okay, still, there's another comment here, still moving to other comments. Sporting King says, this is proof that with enough choreography and practice, we I believe he wants to write we can actually make a good action sequence movie in Nigeria. See that fans are seeing the difference. Like I said, some people are seeing the good in it, some people are seeing the improvement, and we are all here for it. You're all cheering filmmakers. And then some people are complaining that we need to, or Nollywood needs to do better. So at the end of the day, it shows the fans are seeing the difference and they appreciate when choreography is precise, when gunfights are realistic, and when the fight scenes serve the story. That's the Facebook feedback loop driving the evolution. Social media amplifies both praise and critique. That's why on this show we always like to read social media react to get your reactions and see what people are saying about this, because my opinion would not always count. Your opinion out there will count. It's a mirror. Just know that social media is a mirror and a magnifier. But we always have to caution these things. What's viral, like I said before, and what is vital. Because virality is most likely equals to longevity. And if we take it the other way around and we just, relax and rely on what's viral without looking at the vitality of it, we may miss the point. But a trending fight clip, have this in mind, might not mean the whole film works. We need to listen to the constructive criticism, fix the small and obvious errors in these areas, in these films, in these movies, such as the continuity, the physics, the combat, the camera geography, because like I told you before, audiences notice and they tell each other. And they don't just tell each other face to face. You will see it there on the streets of Twitter. And yes, from our lens at Cine 360, the next leap for Nollywood Action is less about copying Hollywood's camera movies and, more about tooling and ecosystem. I see two big accelerators here. One is technology and the other is collaboration. If we do better with cameras, if we have better drones, if we have, stabilizers, all of these things will make dynamic shots affordable for us. Quality, it might seem costly sometimes, but quality is not always costly. If we do the right things, if we put everything well, if we set our priorities right, I think we can do well in Nollywood. And then post-production tools as well. Let editors craft the rhythm of a fight in ways we couldn't decades ago. I told you where we're coming from the O.A. Sakaba, from all of those films. We used to have a whole lot of crime movies where one car will be pursuing another thief and all of these things. But these days, the kind we are seeing is exceptional. Then we don't see inside. Most times we do not see inside the vehicle. You just see this car pursuing the other, you hear screeching sound. The sounds are not even doing it for us that way. But these days, what we are seeing is even better. It makes us feel like we are in the movie. It makes us have the whole experience. And yes, like I said, we are all for it. And also, new tools, pre-visualization software, or AI-assisted storyboarding. All of these things are all there for us now. Life has been made easier. Like I always say, with the whole of this chatbot, with the whole of this AI and what's not here and there, I think it has come to make life more efficient, and it is here to make life easier for us and help plan. And they can help in filmmaking. They can help plan sequences before anyone steps on set. You can use it to visualize your storyboard, know how you're going to direct your photography, organize your shots and most of those things. And then you go and then you just do your thing. But tech is only as good as the people using it. At the end of the day, we must have that in mind. If you do not use it well, it's going to give you a bad result. If you use it well, then you get a good outcome. The real multiplier is cross-industry collaboration. Choreographers working with cinematographers, stunt teams involved, at script stage, and co-productions that bring experienced coordinators to local sets have to come together. This is the time they have to come together if we want to see the next future of, action in Nollywood. Maybe we will begin to see more actors that can do it better than Tom Cruise. Who knows? And that's how you get the craft to match the ambition. So my take is that innovation isn't just gadget, it is process. So we shouldn't be afraid of the process. I feel like we're in the right direction, we're in that process, and also invest in pre-production. I said it earlier on, and I cannot overemphasize this. Invest in pre-production. Let stunt teams rehearse. Use technology. Technology is there for us. I know gadgets are expensive, but then there are, there's some gadgets that can do it for us without spending too much. So use technology to make action safer and clearer, not to max poor planning. So, what do I make of this moment? Nollywood action has, moved from improvised spectacle to intentional craft. We've got directors and producers investing, audiences that reward craft, and of course, social media is there to amplify. Our voices can make or break a sequence overnight. Don't forget that. So it can shall make or break, but it depends on the way you use it. Nollywood's action journey, from machetes and mystical guns to choreographed blood, emotional stakes, real props, believable fight choreography, they are all evolving. And it's evolving, it's growing more sophisticated, more fearless. And if you ask me, I'll say the future is bright for Nollywood, for action evolution in Nollywood. As more filmmakers invest in action craft, as budgets improve, as audiences expect more, Nollywood fightings are going to hit harder. And not just in Nigeria. I feel like it's going to be exported globally. Yes. So guys, thanks for watching Cine 360. If you liked this episode, drop a comment. What's your favorite Nollywood fight scene? Which movie did it right for you? Just tell us any movie that did it for you. I want to see. It might be one that I've not seen before and I would like to watch that movie. Share, tag, and follow us at Idea Television. You can also reach me at Cynthia Bassi on Instagram, Facebook, and X. I am Cynthia Bassi, the lady with no AKA. Keep watching Smart, keep celebrating craft. See you next time, and I'll say it's light, camera, and innovation.